Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there in YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook land. We are back once again after a brief week's hiatus for some more Dungeons and Dragons extravaganza. We've got lots to tell you. Lots has changed in the world of the Forgotten Realms for our two heroes and their compatriots. But before we get into that, we're going to run a title sequence and get back into it. So stick around. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. D&D Live, I should say, not DVD, that's a dead medium. My name is Matt, and I am here today, as always, joined by our resident Dragonborn, who is called?
Yetnet.
Yetnet is the Dragonborn, but your
But my
name
real name is Charlotte.
Charlotte, and she does indeed love a little bit of violence.
Yeah.
As always, folks, we've got our friend here somewhere in here. Let's see where where is he? There he is. We're bringing up Ben. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Ben, who is joining us once again, playing the role of Nitro Drakehand this evening. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. It's good to have you back.
Pleasure for having me along. Thank you.
Absolute pleasure indeed. We are also coming to you live once more, sponsored by our friends, proudly supported by our friends, Strike Deck Dinos. It is a crazy dinosaur game of epic proportions. It is a small box, but it has some epic battles. Check it out. It's absolutely amazing. We are going to get back into the thick of it, but before we go through and into the game, or for tonight's session, I should say, we should quickly talk about what happened at the end. We're going to have a bit of a recap, but we have been leveling up. Both Nitro and Yetnet leveled up, so they've been choosing perks, doing some long rests, rolling hit dice, all that sort of stuff. So there's a few new powers and abilities that have been unlocked, which we're excited to see where this takes us. Anything in particular you're excited for tonight, Ben?
Oh, I'm looking forward for some heads popping up under some rocks or something, because I won't miss this time. There is 0%.
You've got a special new ability. You've got, you said sharpshooter? Yeah, big sharpshooter, a bit crazy.
Yeah, so that 3/4 cover doesn't mean anything to me, and I can call my shot, so I can tell exactly where I want to hit and do some extra damage to some things. That could be some fun.
I can't wait. I have got some crazy stuff that I'm going to throw at you guys tonight, so we'll see how we go. Those of you watching out in Facebook land, if you haven't caught up, you might, we're going to bring you up to speed. But most importantly, folks, we're going to have some fun. It's time to play some D&D.
Previously on HPG D&D Live Junior. Being presented to the evil young green dragon Venomfang as sacrifices by the cult of the dragon, our adventurers Yetnet and Nitro managed to outwit the beast with clever use of smoke and mirrors, and fled to the trees surrounding Venomfang's tower. Venomfang in frustration took to the skies, and some clever thinking by Yetnet allowed the two to craft likenesses of themselves to lure the dragon away from both themselves and Sildar and Iano, and they made haste to find shelter. Finding a cottage that looked intact and reinforced, they sought refuge and were greeted by a wily old druid named Redoth, who not only took them in, but also told them of the whereabouts of Cragmaw Castle, where supposedly King Grol, leader of the Cragmaws, is holding Gundren Rockseeker hostage. Choosing their moment carefully, the party, escorted by Redoth, made their way south and into the southern parts of the Neverwinter Wood to search for the castle and find their lost patron. During the evening, Nitro was awoken by a noise and found a Cragmaw goblin attempting to steal from all of them. It's clear to the party that they are very, very close to the castle, to Gundren, and to danger.
And there we are. We pick up in the middle of the night, the wee hours of the morning, and Nitro has indeed struck an arrow through the thigh of this goblin, who is now writhing in agony on the ground. Redoth the druid has pointed out that the goblin wears the markings of a Cragmaw, and is now lying at your feet, at your mercy, if you will. What would you like to do?
Why am I still asleep?
No, you're awake now.
Okay.
Everyone's awake. The commotion has woken everyone in camp. The only person who can't speak is Glassstaff. Viano Olbrich is gagged still. So it's up to you what you'd like to do.
But we hopefully can search this poor thing after I bind it up again, using the tail ends of the rope that's attached to Glassstaff. We'll tie him up, I think. Sound like a good starter?
So you bind the goblin, tie him up. Are you gagging the goblin, or are you just tying him up and restraining him?
Let's not gag him just yet.
Okay, and you want to make a search?
I want to try and see if I can find the missing gold, as well as what he's tried to pick out of our bags this time.
Okay. Well, he's restrained, so he can't really do anything to stop you from searching through his belongings and his pockets and everything else. You find the gold that he was about to pilfer and scarper off with in his pockets, but you also find the 20 gold pieces that you both lost a couple of sessions ago as you were tracking. I think it was you were tracking Glassstaff after the wagon chase and making your way up to Thundertree. So you both recover 20 gold pieces as a bit of a thanks. So this goblin obviously has been potentially tracking you or tracking these parts of the woods for some time. As you produce the gold from the pouch, he thrashes around and speaks gibberish in Goblin, just clearly unhappy with everything that's going on.
I want to try, because I don't know Goblin, but I'll try speaking in Orc and see if he cottons on to the meaning of sit down, shut up, and don't say a thing.
Can you roll for perception?
Oh, that should be a good one this time, hopefully. 21 in total.
21 in total. Okay, so you see it's subtle. It's almost imperceptible, but you see a glimmer of recognition in his eyes. The goblin looks like he's trying to pretend that he didn't understand you, but you catch a glimpse that he does. He does comprehend what you say in Orcish.
I'm not going to bend down to him because I'm probably the same height. I'll look him dead in the eyes and say, I know you understand. Now behave.
Do you say that in Common or in Orcish?
In Orcish.
The goblin thrashes for a moment, and then looking down at the wound on his leg and everything else does start to calm down quite a bit. He does sort of jerk his head around a little bit, trying to struggle against the bonds. And that's Redoth obviously comes forward. That's one of those Cragmaws I told you about. We need to do something about them. We must be close after all. We can't let him go.
What would you like to get?
Maybe we could ask him if he does this thing for us, then we might let him go or something.
What thing do you want him to do for you?
Take us to Cragmaw's castle.
The castle?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay. So how would you ask the goblin?
Nitro's asking it, not I.
You want Nitro to ask?
I'm hot. I'm like bobbing behind him or something.
Okay. Yet it's still half asleep.
Yeah, I'm like,
So I'll look down at the goblin and say, you clearly understand Orcish. Do you understand Common?
The goblin, there's a bit of a sort of a mumbling in Goblin, and then all of a sudden, me understand perfectly well, you little brute.
It might be little. Brute's not the word I'd use. You're the one that was stealing from us after all.
yeah, you're the
At any rate, you have two options. 1, pincushion. You become one. 2, take us to Cragmaw Castle.
There's a grumble, and you can see the gears turning, and he looks around, and he's, Master won't be happy. Master won't be happy at all.
Pull an arrow and I'll knock it ready.
So again, you knock the arrow, you
I'll
prepare
knock
one.
an arrow ready.
Yeah. And where do you point the arrow?
I'm going to point at his legs, like further up his leg, closer to that region.
At his other knee.
Okay, so further up the leg,
Wait. Could we go some of the way?
No, you have to take us all the way.
Roll for intimidation.
What my friend said.
Intimidation.
That's it.
Oh,
Yeah, intimidation's no bonus. It's a straight roll.
10.
He sizes you up, Yetnet, even though you are probably quite a decent, size bigger than the goblin.
Master's retribution will be worse than yours, you silly lizard.
I will lose it.
Can I put the arrow right between his
I'll
legs?
chop your head off.
Okay, so between the threats of the axe and the arrow pointed south, we'll say, the goblin reneges completely and just basically becomes this sniveling little turd of a monster.
All right. I'll take you. I take you to the castle. I'll take you to the castle.
And he sort of spits on the ground at your feet. Iano in the background is sort of tied up like this, and he's got a gag. And clearly has something that he'd like to say and add to the conversation.
Okay, we'll let him talk, but no silliness with him.
No silliness with him. Okay, so Yetnet, you're going to ungag.
Yeah, okay, I'm just going to pinch it from the side and then pull it down because I have very sharp claws and shame.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate your claws not scratching my face. If I may, the Cragmaw goblins are known to be shrewd and cunning indeed. Might I suggest you get him to escort you away from traps and things?
That actually is good. Good.
I would like to walk up to Glassstaff, backhander him, and say, you were supposed to take us to where this dwarf is. You are not living up to your reputation or promises. Why should we not just kill you and leave you here?
So Iano listens to your question.
But I did indeed lead you to the location in a roundabout sort of way.
He can't really move his hands. His hands are still tied up.
In a roundabout sort of way, I led you to, where Cragmaw Castle is and where Gundren is being held. Surely that counts for something, yes?
No.
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 No?
No.
Surely, yes, it does.
No.
No. Well,
and as you say this, are you going to let him keep talking, or are you going to gag him again?
Gag him otherwise. If he keeps talking, I'm going to scratch his face.
So,
no, wait.
and Iano is roll for damage. Roll 1d6 for damage.
1d6. 4.
So Yetnet tries to make it just a scratch, but just leans into it too closely and just lets gash across Iano's face, and she deeply cuts him across the cheek. And Iano takes
I think we just lost audio for a second there, Matt.
Yep.
Oh, just a
How's
split
that?
second. Sorry.
We're back in?
Yep.
Cool. I think it might be because we're talking too much and we're giggling into the microphone. So Iano has instantly gone quiet, and he's got one hand up on his cheek, and he just eyes off Yetnet with some concern and disdain. While this is happening, your new goblin companion
Don't
thinks it's
scratch him as
hilarious.
well. I'm going to scratch him on you.
You're going to scratch him anyway.
Yes.
Roll for an attack.
2.
Okay, so this is much more of a glancing blow. The goblin takes 2 points of slashing damage across the face, and it again goes quiet and becomes much more reserved, as is the case, and it looks to be quite willing to to help you.
My claws are helpful.
Yetnet has just licked her claws. Oh, wow, we are in for a time tonight. I can tell you that much. In the midst of all this, Sildar has obviously dragged himself to his feet. My friends, I do believe that we should maybe enlist this goblin's help. Take him up on his offer. If what I think to be true is actually the case, then Gundren could be in grave danger.
Yes, we should take him, but I know who she.
that last bit.
Yes.
So Yetnet's
And
the last thing
of
she
course,
said I
of
missed.
course.
Yetnet has basically volunteered to have the goblin ride with her.
Right.
Scratchy.
Yeah.
Because
Okay.
if you call it, I'll scratch him again.
All right.
Can I look at the goblin and say, if you like your treasures and you live up to your promises, the agreement, maybe even steer us away from some of the harmful things you have, how's about I point you in the direction of a nice big treasure chest full of gold?
The goblin's eyes widen at the prospect of treasure and loot, and because he's gagged and obviously now nursing a bit of damage to the cheek, he sort of regards you with an air of curiosity at this point, and he reluctantly seems to nod his head. He seems, yes, okay, I'll help you, and give you. Obviously, he seems to be interested in this treasure trove that you speak of, so he's willing to help you for that.
Very well.
Okay. All right, you're going to make your way there, being led by this goblin.
Yeah,
Yes.
but I'm in the lead because I have the goblin.
Okay, so marching order is Yetnet, followed by
Nitro.
Nitro. No, does
I
Nitro want to go
put
second?
the other people in between and I'll hang back.
Yep,
Oh,
yep.
yes.
So
he has
who's-
the bow and arrow.
So you've got Sildar and Iano, and then you've got Reedoth. Do you want Reedoth behind Yetnet, or just so I can get an idea of marching order?
Yeah, have Glassstaff right behind Yetnet, and then Sildar can keep an eye on him, and I'll keep an eye on the group from behind.
Yep, too easy. So the order I've got is Yetnet, followed by Sildar and Iano, Reedoth, and then obviously Nitro bringing up the rear. As you march further into the woods, are you taking off straight away? I just want to clarify as well, because it is by this point probably at 4 o'clock in the morning.
We are taking off right now.
Right now, you have completed a long rest, so you should be feeling ready to go. All right, so you take off on horseback at a slow canter. The vines and the overgrowth and the terrain is quite difficult to maneuver as you make your way through this darkened forest. You proceed for about an hour and a half. So now you're starting to see the glow of morning come through in the background. Sorry, someone just sent me a text message to say that they're watching the stream live, which is hilarious. It's like an Inception photo. So, excuse me. Hi, Andrew, by the way. So you are marching through. You can see the rays of sunlight starting to come through over the Sword Mountains and down into the canopy of the tree line. And as you make your way forward, you start to notice that the terrain is becoming somewhat different. There's more roots, more vines, the trunks are getting bigger, and there's also some wispy essence that seems to be suspended from some of these trees. There's also some dugout burrows and things you can see around you as well as you make your way forward, presumably to be led towards this castle. I need you both to make perception checks, please. It's a straight roll for you, isn't it?
12.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay. So as you make your way through the clearing, you start to discern, obviously, these are indeed spider webs, and you are making your way further and deeper into the forest of this location. As you make your way further and further, the further you head in this direction, the darker things seem to become. The canopy of trees seems to get denser. For lack of a better term. How would you like to proceed?
Stealthily.
Stealth?
Knocked arrow in the bow, ready to go.
Yeah, I've got.
So you've got a bow ready to go. Can you both roll stealth, please?
What does it end up being?
11.
25.
11.
25, yeah, and 11. Okay, so Nitro, because you're at the back of the marching order, you are pretty much quiet, but almost at the same time, because you're at the back, you're at the mercy of everything that happens before you. As you move closer into this, the land sort of clears out a little bit, and you can see a couple of burrows either side of this sort of makeshift clearing that you've made your way into. And as this is happening, the goblin that is with Yetnet starts to struggle, get really sort of angry, agitated, and starts thrashing about, trying to break free. So Yetnet threatens the goblin with another attack. The goblin is still struggling, desperate to break free. Really desperate to speak.
What is it?
We must go. We can't be here. We can't be here. I don't want to be food.
Why?
And as you say that, the goblin throws himself off the horse, lands into the clearing, and starts to scurry away. You hear a little sort of. You hear a rush of something, footfalls, for lack of a better term. You hear a clicking as well. That's sort of menacing clicking coming at you from all sides. And it's then that you see from one of the burrows
Yeah, I think we're losing audio again.
way into the clearing. The goblin is on the floor looking up at this hulking wolf spider as it comes towards you. And the wolf spider seems to have all 8 of its eyes squarely.
I'll shoot at the wolf spider. I'm shooting at the wolf spider.
Okay, so can you roll for an attack for me?
What is it? A 24 to hit.
24 hits.
No.
Roll for damage.
Six, 7, 8, 9. And we'll add the d6 into that. 9, 6, 15.
15. Okay, so you loose this arrow. The arrow flies through the air. As you see the arrow sort of embed in the carapace of the spider, you can hear this screech as the spider lurches to the side. The goblin scurries the other way, out of range, I guess, for lack of a better term, of the spider. As this happens, Yetnet, are you still on the horse?
No, I'm protecting the wolf spider.
You're going to jump down?
Yeah, I'm protecting the wolf spider. It's mine.
Why?
Because it's mine.
Okay, so Yetnet...
Dead now.
Are you... So, yeah, well... So the wolf spider collapses to the side and it sort of almost collapses on one side. It's sort of its legs are trying to sort of get back up off the ground, but it's clearly wounded. Yetnet, you race over to the spider. Is that what's happening?
I race over and try to get it out. It's mine.
The spider sees you approach, and as you approach, you can see one of its legs it's got a sharp point on it. It actually starts to lean out as if to attack you.
Oh. Go from the back, I guess?
You want to go around the back of it? Okay. So as you go around the back of it, you see there's an arrow that is lodged in the back that's come from Nitro from the side. And you can see a blood. There's also like a green ichor as well that is coming out of this oozing wound. What would you like to do?
I'm going to try to, tug it out.
You're going to try and take it out?
Yeah, but just, softly tug it.
Okay, make a medicine roll for me.
I don't have a medicine.
Yes, you do. It's a straight natural D20 roll.
20.
Praying for a nat 20. That's cocked. Roll again. Okay, so we rolled a 2. So you go to grab a hold of this thing and you yank it out. Try to yank it carefully to remove the arrow, but your brute barbarian strength is too much. Yank! Rah! There's a squeal from the spider as this oozing pustule things. I need you to make a Constitution save for me, please.
Constitution.
So it's So Yetnet,
Yeah.
as you remove the arrow, this blood and green ichor sprays out all over the side of you, and it gets all over your dragon skin.
Doesn't matter.
No, it does matter because it's poisonous. So I need you.
Oh.
Oh, you've got a resistance to poison. This is good. Because of your poison resistance, you only take 2 points of poisoning damage.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be poisoning, but
Well,
I
it's
leveled
poison.
up, so I can't.
Yeah, okay, that's fine. So you take your 2 points of poisoning damage. The spider is thrashing around a little bit, looking a bit worse for wear.
Audio keeps dropping.
How's that?
That's back up yet.
Yep. We're not in combat. What would you like to do?
I have an idea.
You have an idea?
I come
I
across with a
have a
knocked
rope
arrow.
or something, or like a band-aid or something.
So Nitro's coming across with a prepared arrow. Are you still mounted, or are you getting off your horse?
I'm off. I'll jump off the horse and come
Jump
across.
off the horse? Yeah.
Ned, what are you doing?
Attack it. Don't.
Nitro's asking what you're doing.
Oh, I had a rope before, like I could tie around the spider's leg. I had a rope before.
You had a rope, yeah. Your rope's in your equipment, but Nitro's asking what you're doing in terms of with a spider. What are you trying to do?
I'm not going to kill it. It's my spider.
It's your
You want-
spider. What do you mean?
Oh.
Try and claim the spider.
I'm going to claim the spider.
Well, you better be nice to it. What do you want to do to try and help the spider?
I'm going to try to hug it.
You're going to try to hug it. All right, can you make
Make a
we'll call it
check.
We'll call it persuasion.
Persuasion.
A kindness check. Persuasion, it's a straight roll.
Oh.
It's praying for I feel like every time you pray... Say again?
Can I assist her in this?
Yes.
How would you assist her?
I'll ask a question first before she does this.
Me?
Yeah?
Yeah.
What do you mean this is your spider? Is it your pet or something?
I picked it out from the book.
Metagaming at its finest. So why do you want to befriend this spider? Because you can. Okay. So roll your roll for persuasion.
And I'll cast Cure Wounds.
Yeah. Can you? How many points does Cure Wounds have?
Where is it? Cure Wounds is a 1d8 plus 2.
All right. Can you roll that for me?
7 points.
Okay. Cool. So we have 7 points of Cure Wounds. As this happens, Yetnet steps closely up to the spider, moving around to the mandibles, to the maw, which is flicking around and sort of not sure what's going on. The goblin is scurrying away. One of the eyes of the spider is on the goblin. Yetnet comes around and just grabs one of the legs and just gently embraces it in a hug. And on a roll of 15, it actually does okay. The spider almost sort of not relaxes a bit, but is just a bit unsure of what's going on. And while that's distracted by Yetnet, Nitro is able to put his hands on and cast Cure Wounds on that affected area. I need you to make a con save for me, though, please, Nitro. Just because of the poison element at play.
That's not a d20. Hang on. Let me get my d20. Yeah,
You're up.
Yeah, con. 17 plus 2. 19.
Yeah, that's fine. So you place your hands on just to the sides of the affected area, and this golden sort of glow emanates out from where this green ichor is oozing out of this place, and the carapace sort of heals over in one swift movement. You can see that under the surface of the carapace there, this soft underbelly, there's still a bit of bruising and swelling where the wound was, but for all intents and purposes, the wound is gone, and the spider is almost not back to full health, but definitely in a much better way than it was. The spider, for a moment, seems a bit dazed and confused about what's happened. But then, Yetnet, you feel something along your back, and then you realise that the spider has actually brought one of its legs around and is embracing you back in return. And there seems to be a bit of a kinship here. Can you roll an animal handling check, please? It's a plus 2.
Plus 2. 10. Oh,
It's a 12. Yeah. Okay. Where are we? Okay. So as you embrace this thing and the spider is effectively embracing you in return, there's a moment that is between, well, I was going to say man and beast, but it's beast and beast in this case, where the spider seems to just connect with you. There's a moment between you. There's a connection that happens just between the two for that moment. And then the spider releases you, steps back, and sort of just sits there, almost waiting
for me to jump on its back or something?
Just waiting for you to do something or make it do something. What would you like the spider to do?
I have an idea. Catch the goblin.
Strap yourselves in, kids.
Wait.
So you're commanding the spider to catch the goblin?
Yeah, but... So the strap on the goblin's mouth, or the hands.
The gag, yeah, and the bonds, yeah. The goblin, by the way, is crawling, literally using
I'm
fingertips
going
to try and get
the
away.
spider to run up and grab the side of it
Okay.
And then stare at it and bring it back here.
Okay. So you issued the command to the spider. How do you do that?
So I'm like, go after the goblin and grab it by the cheek.
So
And
as you speak common to this spider and you gesticulate as to what's happening, you gesture over to where the goblin has scurried away. The spider turns and almost without even waiting for you to give you a command, heads over slowly and carefully and using 2 of its 8 legs, picks up the goblin. Catches down with its abdomen right up in the air, almost wagging its tail like it's a dog.
Yeah, but audio's cutting in and out again, Matt.
The goblin's just sort of wondering what on earth is going on with this spider.
Good spider. Sit down. Good girl.
When I go in front of the spider, I don't think I need to take a knee, but I'll bow in front of it and say, I apologize for attacking you so hastily.
I'll get the spider to eat you.
We'll be careful what you wish for. Nitro, you make your way in front of the spider and you, we'll say stoop, for lack of a better term,
do this.
being the short man you are. The spider, you get a hissing
Spider,
noise.
pat him on the head.
You get a hissing noise, and then at Yenet's command, one of its legs comes up over the top and literally gives you a tap on the head. And it sort of seems to be wary of you, but it understands that you're no longer a threat, so to speak. And in the midst of all this, Sildar and Redoth are watching this exchange. Iano couldn't care less at this point. He's just busy making sure the goblin's not getting away, etc. Redoth.
Well, there's something you don't see every day. These spiders usually eat people like us. This is quite remarkable.
Meh.
You're not impressed?
No.
Well,
Spiders like me.
Spiders, apparently they do.
I am half dragon and half spider.
Half dragon, half spider. What a curious breed you are indeed. As much as this display has, enlightened my abilities in the worlds of nature and things like that, perhaps we should press on, yes?
Yes, but first I need to say something to the goblin, the Cragmaw goblin.
And the goblin sort of looks at you, dragon, a bit weary.
Why did you run away?
Oh,
yes.
Oh, we can't be here. We can't be here. The spiders are going to eat us. We have to go.
It's fine. I'm in control of it now. But if you don't, shush, I'm going to make it eat you. So,
Yeah.
Shush.
The goblin is re-gagged, shush. And the goblin just sort of points in a easterly direction, and sort of indicates that you should head off in that way.
Okay, one thing. Can I not ride the horse? Can I ride my spider?
Make an animal handling check.
I think I've got more of a chance of that. I'm a bit smaller than you.
Oh, it's a large creature, so we might be right here. That's cocked roll again.
7, 8, 9.
So you make your way around and you place your hands on its spider's abdomen and sort of give it a sense that you're going to jump up. And the spider seems to not be sure. The spider seems to back away a little bit, and it's still sore from the damage. So you probably won't be able to ride it at this point.
But how am I supposed to get on the horse? It's giant.
No, you can get on the horse. The spider doesn't need to ride on the horse. It's a giant spider.
Okay. Okay, the goblin's gonna ride behind. So the goblin's gonna ride with Nitro this time.
Are you okay with that, Nitro?
Yeah, sure.
Yep, cool. All right.
Because I'm just gonna ride
issue.
it.
Yeah.
All right, so Yetnet and the giant wolf spider now in tow, leading the way as you head further east, further into the jungle. As you make your way out of the clearing and continue on horseback and with your new beastie companion of riding along beside you, there it is, you sense many, 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 many eyes watching you as you ride through. And if you have a look up in the trees and in the burrows that you see as you ride past, you can see sets of 8 eyes looking at you from in the burrows, looking at you from in the tree line as these curious giant wolf spiders watch as you walk away with one of its companions or one of its compatriots, very curiously, very oddly wondering what is going on. At this point, it is now closer to 6 in the morning, thereabouts. The sunlight's very much through the trees. The canopy starts to thin out, and you can see in the distance the parapets of a ruined building, what looks like some towers, some castles, some other bits and pieces, and lots of rubble strewn around as you make your way to the clearing. Your goblin companion starts to get a bit more agitated as you make your way further east and urges you to pull over or to stop just for a moment. He sort of indicates that it's time to rest, time to break.
Nitro, I think you should pull the cag down and let him talk for a bit.
I'll pull the gag down, ready to throw it
Say
straight
he
back
can
in.
cook for
Scream
2
at him.
minutes, that's it.
We could stop. We gotta stop. We gotta stop here.
Why do we have to stop? We need to keep going.
Can we see the castle from here?
You can see the outcroppings of what looks like your ruined towers just above the canopy in the distance. You're probably about 120 to 150 feet from the castle itself. Even Redoth looks a little bit nervous. The goblin turns to you, Nitro.
Yeah, audio cut out then. I didn't catch a single thing.
They'll see you. They'll see you.
I'll say, how many are in there? How many of the other goblins are in there?
I don't know. People come and go. There's raiding parties that could be out. It could be 5. It could be 20. I don't know. I don't have the schedule.
Well, ignoring the schedule, how many in total would be occupying this place?
At any one time?
30, 40?
I don't know. It could be 60.
110?
If the entire clan is having an entire clan union meeting, it could be as many as 100.
That could be interesting.
I think we're gonna die.
I reckon if we handle ourselves stealthily, we can get in and out. We can probably save our dwarven friend, but we have to be careful about things, I think, for this one.
Redoth pipes up as he dismounts the horse that he's riding on.
My friends, I do appreciate you dragging me along for the ride, and your goblin companion here does speak the truth. There's been lots of raiding parties around these parts for the Cragmaws, but in all honesty, they are a very disorganized bunch, and I dare say that their union meeting he speaks of is only ever held once every 10 to 15 years, so the odds of the castle being full to the brim are very few, I would imagine.
So you mean like 50-50%?
I would say more like maybe 5% chance that there's more than hundreds of goblins, as he said.
Okay.
So
If
if
we're
we
gonna
leave, could we potentially leave Sildar and our tied up friend with you for the time being then? Could you protect them while we attempt to get in and out?
I'm not much of a warrior myself. Peace and love and druidism and all that sort of thing. I was actually about to take my leave. I'd have no part in this castle nonsense, if you don't mind.
And that's fine. I'd appreciate if you could hide them in the trees and look after them, at least until we get back.
At this point, Sildar rides forward with Yano on the back.
My friends, I do feel that maybe you would perhaps need as much assistance as you could muster. I'd quite gladly loan my sword to you in this manner. I mean, Gundren is my friend as well as yours.
I think we should take both of them with us and the little yellow hooded guy.
Okay.
So we should take all of them. We need as much backup as we can get.
Sildar turns to Yetnet and to you, Nitro.
Well, one for all and all for all of that. This is quite the adventure, I suppose. I haven't felt this alive in years.
And my giant wolf spider's coming into the castle. Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the giant wolf spider. That would perhaps be a little bit more conspicuous than we would like to be.
It's fine. It won't attack you unless I say so.
I'm not worried about it attacking me. I'm more worried about everyone attacking us when they see a giant wolf spider trying to enter the castle.
Nah, I'll make it jump. I'll make it go up onto the roof and then just jump down, into the middle of the floor.
So, Yetnet, would you like me to scout around this castle and see if I can find how many people are keeping watch?
Yes, if we had a pen and paper, we could keep track of all of them, but we don't have a pen and paper.
It's okay. I've got a decent memory for it, so I'll skirt around the outside if you're okay with that, and I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, we'll just stay here.
All right, so Nitro, if you're going to go and scout the circumference of the castle, I'm assuming you're going to stay in the tree line as you do so.
Stealthily, please. Yes.
Stealthily, you're not just going to walk up to the gate. Hello, I'm selling snake oil.
Exactly.
Can you make a stealth check for me to make sure you get around there?
Oh my god, I don't need to worry about it. 25.
25. Okay, so you make your way around the outskirts. The good thing about this is you're also able to effectively map out the exterior of the building. So as you make your way around, you will be able to sort of work out that you've got this little handy little map up here. You can see on the west side of the map is a couple of sets of stairs that lead up to some double doors that are broken down. Around the side of the south part of the castle, there looks like another set of stairs and a big iron door. And you can see a pathway that leads to a northern part of the building. There doesn't appear to be any entrances on the eastern side of the complex, but there is all the way around. You can see what looks like little arrow slits marked into the side of the towers. Whether or not people are watching, you can't be sure. You can't see inside those. They are quite narrow.
Yep. Okay. So I'll keep track of as much as I can. If I can see any movement, I'll keep track of it roughly in the old noggin.
Make a perception check for me.
That's 16, 18.
Yeah, so you can see, while you can't make out exactly what it is, at the eastern end of the castle, through one of the arrow slits, you can see a big hulking shadow. And then on the northeastern point of the towers, you can see what looks like a couple of shadowy figures moving around. On the western side, both the north and south towers, there is movement, but it's very sporadic. It doesn't look like there seems to be any order as such.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's okay.
Once I've done a loop, I'll head back to the rest of them and relay information as best I can.
Sure. How would you like to proceed, folks, now that Yetnet's got that information? And your party is effectively ready to take the castle in some way, shape, or form. How do you want to make your way in?
No, Dad. Seriously, thank you.
What?
That's right. How do you want to make your way inside the castle?
Stealthily.
Stealthily? Do you want to go in through the front, or do you want to try one of the sides?
So yet that we have the main big doors, which I don't recommend because most of the time people watch them.
Yes.
There is.
I will say you did notice those main doors are effectively shattered. They're not actually closed. They're literally broken off.
Absolutely.
If we had a disguise, I think we had. Do we both have red cloaks or something that we could put on?
You do both have red cloaks, yes.
Could we put them over
Yeah.
and then we could pretend like the little guys that we're traveling with are prisoners and we're giving them to
That's up to you, Nitro.
Are they affiliated with each other? Do we know?
You would remember that the cloaks were from the Red Brand Ruffians, and they were under the command of Iano as glass staff. And it would appear that Iano has some connection to this mysterious black spider figure. And you would also remember, not so much Nitro, but Yetnet, you would remember discovered a note, more hideout that had come from the black spider. So there is potentially a connection between the two events.
I think I might. Okay, so
That's a hell of a plan, by the way. Like, she's 8. I'm just saying.
okay, this might be a crazy idea, but I think we should let Glassstaff lead because he knows this place. This is a crazy idea, but me and Nitro are definitely standing behind him.
That's.
We'll hold his hands or something. Pretend with him.
I mean, we can. Don't get me wrong, but let me just put it out there. Okay, I don't know if you've seen much magic being cast yet, Net, but as soon as you
Oh, yeah.
unbind a wizard,
Yeah.
and they can do these things, right? Magic can start flying.
Mhm.
I don't highly recommend this plan, but we can try it if you
Wait.
want.
I have another idea. Wait. Okay. Glass staff goes to the back, and Rudolph and Silda go in the middle, me and you at the front, and then we'll have my wool spider in front on the side of me.
So let me ask a question, and
Mhm.
I'm going to put this just out there. What if we get in there and we find there's 20 goblins chilling out in a room, and then this old little tied up turd turns around and says, kill them, they captured me. What do we do?
I need to talk to the for a second. Will you say that when Nitro is dead or not?
Iano's got a gag on, so he can't talk at the moment.
Oh no, the goblin.
The goblin's got a gag on as well. He can't
Oh,
talk
yeah.
either.
No, not. I will not dob you in. I'm at your service. I won't dob you in at
Good,
all.
because
I'm a good, honest goblin, sir.
Insight check.
Roll an insight check for me.
Oh, re-roll that natural one. It becomes a natural 20.
He is laying it on thick to Yetnet. You can tell straight.
Yeah.
He has every intention of throwing it.
I'm just going up behind him. Thunk. Don't lie.
Can you roll a straight natural 20 for me for strength?
For strength for me. 17.
You just knocked him out. The goblin literally. Boom.
He's lying.
The goblin falls to the ground like a sack of you know what. He is literally just, his eyes roll back into his head. He's still breathing, but he's literally unconscious. That's it. He's out.
Okay,
He's never
I have
been
an
telling you
idea
the
to wake
truth.
him up. I have an idea to wake him up. Punch him in the belly.
There's no reaction at all. I need you to make a damage roll, please. No. You just need to roll your d6.
No. 3.
3. Yeah. So he takes 3 points of bludgeoning damage. The breathing becomes a little harsh, a little ragged, but he doesn't wake up.
Seriously?
Yeah,
Now I need a wagon.
He's going to lie. He's going to sell us in at the moment's notice. And that little glass staff turd that's tied up on the horse as well, he's going to do that as well. I'm 100% convinced. We need another plan.
No, I've changed my plan.
Okay, what's your new plan?
Blast up is going in the middle of Silda and Rudolph.
And what if he
And
yells
a
out
little-
for everyone to kill us?
Oh, he's
Can
he's
you
bad. He's
both-
bad.
What's your passive perceptions?
Passive,
Perception.
the 12 for me.
So that one.
Yeah, what plus do you get to your...
10 for Yetnet.
Yeah.
Okay, so while this is going on, while you're having this banter in the tree line here, you see, you hear in the distance, not horses, but there's a snarling and there's footfall, something running. And you look over to the castle gates and you see a couple of wolves come bounding out of the gates, and they're followed close behind by a couple of hobgoblins riding what looks like a larger version of the wolf. And the hobgoblins are effectively making their way out, running directly towards you where you're situated. They don't look like they're sounding any sort of alarm as such, but they are heading in your direction. What would you like to do?
Make stick figures.
I would suggest we hide.
Aww.
Make stealth
Take
checks,
them on
please,
if you
for
want,
folks.
but this is going to be a hard...
Yeah. Okay, tree line, fine.
All right, make
But
stealth.
we're making closer to the castle though.
Yeah.
That's it.
Roll for stealth.
15, 16, 17.
21 this time.
Yeah,
17.
okay. So you all managed to dive out of the way. I'm just going to check. Nope, Iano does not get enough noise to attract their attention. You split up. Are you on the same side, or are you splitting up?
No, we're on the same side, so yeah.
Okay,
Okay, so you're all
on the same
hiding
side.
on the same side. So you hide into the tree line, and the hobgoblins and the wolves don't seem to notice. They ride and run straight past you. Clearly, it's some sort of raiding party as such. If you turn your attention back to the castle, you see a soul goblin standing in the doorway leading inside. He turns his back, makes his way, obviously having just sent out the troops, so to speak, on some sort of raiding party mission, which does mean that the raiding party will eventually return the same way they've come. It's up to you how you'd like to proceed.
Should we sneak in the back?
You want to try the iron door, or is there another entrance that I found, Mr. Matt?
You discovered there is the front entrance where you just saw the goblin.
Yep.
There is the iron door to the south. There was a strange pathway to the north, but you couldn't see a way in as such. But there is a bit of a pathway that leads up just to a wall.
We can try the iron door if you want to, instead of going in the front door. Yeah? Okay, so we could try that then. Let's sneak on across and keep our eyes on the wall and make sure no goblins or anything else is looking down at us while we go.
Can you make a stealth check for me, please, folks, once again?
Okay, that natural 1 is going to become a natural 14 plus 7. 21.
Okay, so who's leading?
I will attempt to lead the stealth mission to the wall.
Good answer.
I rolled 6.
Okay, so as you make your way around, Yetnet goes to take the lead, and Nitro, you put your hand out and push her back and take the lead as you make your way southward. You approach the gate at the side of the castle. There's an overgrown path that doesn't seem to have been travelled a lot. It leads to a passage that climbs up to the side of the wall. There is a large iron door sheltered from any sort of direct outside attack built into the rock. There are 2 arrow slits about 10 feet up from that ground level, and the door looks quite heavy, quite solid.
Can I just use... Oh, that's not a good idea. I was going to say crack my great excellent, but no, that will make more
Crack your great excellent door.
We don't want to make much noise if we can get away with it, please.
Breath weapon. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Okay. I'm interested to see how this goes. Hang on. Yetnet is proposing to use her breath weapon on the door. The breath weapon she has chosen for her lineage is acid.
With green. I'm green.
What's the door made out of again?
Iron.
Can we see hinges, Mr. Matt?
Yes, you can.
Can I just profile it? Can I?
Hang on. Wait a minute.
I'll suggest let's try that, but try and aim it at this part of the door where you can see the hinges.
Okay.
All right, so you're...
Range 15 feet. I'm in 15 feet.
Yeah, you are within 15 feet. Yeah.
2d6.
No, hang on. It's not you. You can use your breath weapon, but it's not you that's got to make a roll just yet.
Oh, it's the door.
Okay, roll for damage.
I need 2d6s.
Yep, so roll that one twice.
6. 2. 6,
So
7, 8.
you watch as Yetnet gathers up strength, and for no apparent reason other than her sheer frustration, she belches, and this acrid black bile flashes out at this door.
It's green.
Green? Okay, it's green. Fine.
Green.
What do I know? I'm just the dungeon master.
Exactly.
So it splashes out all over the place. And it collects not just the hinges, but also the door frame, parts of the lock. There's a little sort of window slit that it's covering as well. And you just start to hear this bubbling as the acrid acid bile eats away at the metal on the door. And within a few short moments, Yetnet, I need you to make a dexterity save. Dexterity save, please.
13.
Yeah. So you see the door actually pop off the wall. It starts to fall towards you. Can you roll for strength, please, as well?
10.
You're good. You got 14. So as the door comes forward, not only do you get under it in time, but you also stop it from slamming down and making a deafening clang as it hits the pavement. Yetnet lowers the door, and there's now a gaping maw inside leading into the interior of the castle. But there doesn't appear to be any cause for alarm. No one seems to be running in to cause trouble or to see what's going on.
That's good. Can we put our red cloaks on now?
That's up to you.
Red cloaks, red cloaks.
Sure.
Okay, I turn around to everyone behind us.
Mhm.
Okay, everyone. Me and Nitro are going to put our red cloaks on. You follow behind us. You'll pretend you're strays. Fine? Good. And Spider, you follow behind me, okay?
Okay, so you have donned the 2 red cloaks, Nitro and and Yetnet.
And Giant Wolf Spider.
I will say, Nitro, the robe that you've got is for someone considerably taller, so you may you have a bit of a train behind you, which is totally acceptable. The
Audio again, Matt.
Redoth has.
It just cuts in and out. I'll let you know at the end of the call at the game.
No, that's okay. Are we back?
Yep.
Redoth leans in.
I really must be. I've
No,
enjoyed
you're
this
not going.
adventure. I've enjoyed this adventure, but I need to go back and make sure that dragon hasn't knocked down my bloody house.
So,
You're not going.
well, he reluctantly bids you farewell, bids you good luck, and Redoth actually takes his leave and heads back into the tree line, into the forest. He does wish you well, but he's out of the picture at this point.
I really wanted him to stay. We don't
Oh, well.
care about that house of that dragon.
Are you making your way inside?
Yes. Oh, guys, stay behind us.
I will talk to the group. We want to still be pretty quiet, I'm assuming.
Okay, everyone huddle around me and Nitro.
Group huddle.
And then we...
Group huddle.
Yes, group huddle.
Sildar pipes up.
Yes, of course. We would need to be quite quiet, nimble of foot, and as quiet as mice, I would imagine.
Oh, can I pull an arrow out and point it at Glassstaff and say, if we get into a fight, you're the first one that dies.
Yes, he's the first one that dies.
Through his gag,
Oh, yeah.
he nods.
Mhm.
He just
Good.
waves his hands like yes, whatever, and goes back to being his nonchalant self.
Cool.
As you make your way into this first little part, you can see there's a passageway. There's debris and things to the north of you. There's a small wooden door off to your left. As you make your way in, there's a smell, like a meaty cooking smell coming from that room, from behind that door. The way forward, there's a sheer curtain that runs the full length of this 20-foot ceiling. It's quite heavy, but there's a breeze that's sort of blowing from behind that curtain. You will note too that your spider friend can manage to squeeze its way inside. So it does manage to make its way inside the castle behind you.
Okay. Be quiet for a second. Let me go and check this door. I want to see if there's anything on the other side of it. So I'll sneak across to that door where the cooking's coming from, the great smell. And I want to see if I can hear anything through the door or see any bodies moving, if there's any light under the door or any sort of anything.
Your passive perception's 12, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So you can hear hubbub. You can hear some crockery plates smashing. You can hear cutlery being ruffled. You can hear a bit of banter. It's a bit garbled, but it does sound like it's Goblin. And you can hear some instructions being barked. It sounds like someone's telling someone off. There's probably, for as far as you can tell, at least 3 or 4 voices that are of different pitches and things as well. But that's what you can tell without opening the door.
Okay. I'll sneak back over to the group and be like, there's a couple of things in that room. If we open the door, we have to kill them quickly or silence them somehow quickly.
I have an idea. We could just go we could just knock on the door, someone can open it, and then we're like, we bring the strays, we are not strays, they are strays. But won't they get killed anyway?
Sure. I mean, we could see if that works.
So then what if they get killed? Do we just pull our road cloaks off and I just throw my breath weapon all around the room?
No, you can't. You've used your breath weapon. You have to wait. It's got to recharge.
It does. Take some time.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I can get my
Oh,
little
sure,
dragon
right,
to
sure.
do his breath weapon,
Nitro's got his Drake.
but it's not as effective as yours. It's pretty much going to set things on fire, and that's about it. And I would suggest we either empty the room via killing them first, or we do something else. We can leave this one alone and go to the curtain and see what's there.
Well, I was just thinking of this. If I ask my giant wolf spider to, so maybe you bring out your Drake, and maybe I could tell my giant wolf spider, like, can Nitro's Drake get on the back? And then if they both say yes, my giant wolf spider to run Nitro's Drake around, and he could just spray fire everywhere.
I mean, he can do it only so often.
So basically, Yetnet, if I understand your plan, you're effectively saying the two of you would send your familiars in to the room and just let the monsters loose in amongst whatever's in that room.
Me and Nitro go on one side, we push the door open, and then we say, giant wolf spider, Drake, and then they just rush into the room, and then I'll tell my giant wolf spider to run around the room. And then
which would effectively give you both the element of surprise after the fact.
How does that sound? But I have to tell my giant wolf spider.
Is that going to set off any alarms, do you think, Yetnet, and get other goblins involved from other rooms?
No, but if we hide behind the wall, then maybe think they're both strays or like that. Something.
Strays.
So I'm going to tell my giant wolf spider.
Okay.
I mean, I'm going to tell my giant wolf spider.
We can certainly try, I suppose.
Okay.
Let's give it a go.
I'm just going to tell my giant wolf spider what's going to happen because, like, yeah.
Okay, so you go and do that. Nitro, are you making your way to the door in preparation for this plan?
Oh,
I mean, you're still there. Yeah.
Okay, just wait for me. Okay, giant wolf spider, is it okay if Nitro's Drake jumps on your back and you run it over all the way around the room and let it both fire? Not you, at the goblins.
The spider looks you up and down. You don't get a physical response, but you can sort of see that there's a kinship. The spider makes its way over to the door. Nitro leans back and moves to the side to make a way for the giant abdomen of the damn thing as it comes up nice and close.
Okay, you might want to tell your Drake to jump on my spider's back. Okay, down with spider, sit so the Drake can get on your back, please.
The spider collapses down, lowers its body down to make way.
I'll let my Drake jump up on top.
Okay, now, giant spider, arise. Okay.
The spider stands to its full height.
Now, when we open the door, you and the Drake run out. Nitro, you tell your Drake to both breathe fire everywhere.
Okay.
Okay, we
And if that doesn't kill them all, are we just going to shoot at them?
Yeah. Okay, so when we're behind the room, I don't think this will work, but I'm just going to throw my javelin in the room when they're all done.
Okay, have it ready to go.
Yes, but we're going to do it after our two.
After they throw the fire, okay.
Alright, are you ready to go, everyone?
Look at me.
Glass are you ready to go? Okay, they're ready to go. Let's do it. Right.
Let's do it.
Okay,
Okay,
3.
who's opening the door?
Both of us. We're both.
I'm close to it. I'll open it with an arrow in my
3,
bow ready to go.
2, 1.
Okay, so the door is thrust open to the wind, and there's a huge loud bang as the door slams into the rock behind it. The spider and the Drake riding the spider make their way inside, and there's a little as the spider comes through, and because you can't actually see what's happening, and it all happens very quickly, you hear them rush in, and then you hear the squeals of crazy stuff from behind the door as you then hear the breath weapon from the Drake go off. You hear skittering about. You hear furniture being flown absolutely everywhere. You hear a loud crash and the spilling of what sounds like a huge ton of liquid. And then, without word of warning, all of a sudden, a goblin wearing a chef hat runs out the door into both of you. Oh. The hat is got flames on it. He's got scorch marks from what looks like burns, 3rd-degree burns or something on him. You hear wailing from inside as well. It's up to you whether you want to deal with this chef goblin or whether you want to make your way inside.
Okay, I think I'm going to do. I'm still looking out the door. One hand's like this, and then I'm going to go javelin. Like I'm going to go. Ugh!
Okay.
Good.
I need you both to roll initiative, please.
Oh, poo. 16.
16, yeah.
Yeah.
It's an 18.
18 for Nitro. Okay. Can you make another straight up nat 20 roll, please? Oh, doesn't matter. Unless you roll a nat 1. Yeah, okay, you're good. Okay, so Chef Goblin is here. He's got you've got a surprise attack. You're going to throw a javelin, but before you do that, Nitro, you are first to act.
Is he right at my feet?
Yes.
Effectively, he's just run around the corner, so you've had the shock of him coming around, but he obviously wasn't prepared to find you there. He would be well within 5 feet and pretty much right on your feet, on your person.
Okay. One day. He looks pretty worse for wear, doesn't he?
He's not happy.
Yeah.
He's not having a good time.
I want to jump in front of him. Hopefully, it could scare him into just staying where he is. Can I see any other goblins in the room that are still kicking around?
Yes. So you can see as you jump into view to stop this goblin from making any further progress, you see absolute chaos behind him in the door. What looks like a giant wolf spider with a little feathered bird drake thing on its back, literally tearing apart what appears to be 6 other goblins in this room as they run from place to place. Some of the goblins are in the space at this moment getting a bit more prepared, and they're grabbing weapons as best they can. One of them's got like a butter knife off of the table and is trying to have at this spider. So there's absolute chaos in that room. Roll for perception for me just quickly.
That's not going to be good. 5?
Okay, so you can't see beyond what's happening in that room. It's absolute chaos, but more to the point, you've got a guy with a chef's hat that's right in front of you.
So I can't see what's going on in the room?
Just the chaos of the spider and the drake and everything else. It was more...
Yeah, that audio just cut out again. We're having fun with this audio tonight, aren't we?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Sorry, so I can't see what's going on. I can just see the spider running around. That's all I can see.
You can see the spider running around, and there's, from what all you can tell, about 6 or so other goblins in that room. But you can't see anything else because you didn't roll high enough.
I know. It's always fun. I'd like to take a pot shot at one of the goblins that looks like they're a little bit more aware or a little bit more...
the guy with the butter knife?
Yeah, the butter knife guy. Let's go with that.
Butter knife goblin? All right, roll for an attack, please.
I want to try this tonight. I want to call the shot on this guy.
Yeah, go for it.
So I take a -5, so that's going to be 17 to hit.
It hits, yes.
Yeah, nice. So that's going to be... Where is my D8? Hiding. There it is. A D8. That is going to be 8 plus 3, 11. I'm going to use my Drake's ability to give me an extra D6 to the hit.
Does the Drake have to be focused with you, or can it be anywhere?
Well, it doesn't specifically say just within 30 feet of me. Is he further away?
Oh,
that's a hard one.
Yes, about 45 feet.
Okay, so I can't use it then. That's fine. So that's 11, 21 points of damage to...
Have you ever seen the movie The Jackal, the remake that has Richard Gere and Bruce Willis in it?
I'm going to admit no.
Okay, there's a scene where the Jackal, the villain, is buying a long-range sniper weapon, and he asks a very unknown at the time Jack Black to hold up a pack of cigarettes because he says the aim of the weapon is off, and the guy says, "Nah, man, it's perfect, it's fine." The butter knife guy, Goblin, is holding up the knife, threatening the spider, and your aim is about as true as you can be, but for whatever reason, you slightly misjudge the distance. So instead of taking the butter knife out of action, the arrow sinks through here and just takes the arm clean off this goblin, The goblin flies back, and in the force of the blow is so strong, actually knocks him onto this table where there's a collection of other knives and spiky objects, and the goblin is thrown back with such force that he is just impaled beyond belief, and you can just see gouts of as this goblin is just exploding from the inside out with all of these sharps that have just gone through its body. He ain't getting up.
Oh yeah, he's out.
Dinner is served.
Yeah, Ned, you're up.
Okay.
So you want to javelin the chef goblin, is that right?
I want to do one thing, like one thing. So, okay, so I'm getting my javelin ready, but while I'm I've got it in.
You want to use the javelin as a melee attack. So you don't want to throw it, you just want to stab this guy.
I want to stab it, but then while I'm stabbing it, I'm going to go.
And have a look at the room.
Yes, I'm going to go. Like, if my giant roll spider comes in real close, I'm going to...
Roll for perception, quickly.
I could just imagine Yetnet peering across the doorway as an arrow goes through the hair.
Yeah. 9. Okay, so similar to Nitro, you see the chaos of the room. A steady little toothy grin appears on Yetnet's face as she watches her little girl drumming up and tearing apart those goblins. I need you to make an attack roll with your javelin on this chef goblin, please.
Yes, please. Yes, tear us up some goblin.
Beautiful thing.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, you got to roll your attack first to make sure you hit.
But
Don't go straight for damage. It's not a given thing.
That is my damage, though. Plus 6, that definitely hits.
That hits,
And
you
then
do
it's
4.
8.
It's 8 damage, is it?
8 plus 4. I mean, 4
Oh,
plus
D6
4.
4. Yeah, okay. So
8.
So 8 damage. The chef goblin effectively becomes shish kebab because in the space and the chaos of everything's been going on, the javelin comes out. The goblin doesn't see it in time because he's distracted by Nitro and runs straight onto the point of the javelin, almost so it gets right up close in your face and just keeps coming. And then before it's too late, the goblin sort of slumps to the side and backwards. Yetnet tips up the javelin and slowly slides the shish kebab
With
goblin.
blood.
Ironically, the chef goblin is now shish kebab off of the
It's
javelin
up against
spear.
my face and I'm like...
In the midst of this, with the reaction to Butter Knife Goblin getting absolutely smashed, you see a couple of the goblins peel off and start running towards the door, towards the both of you. Nitro, you are, because you've moved around the door, you're in the way. They're coming for you. They've got to make the distance. So the first goblin is going to make it across to you, he says, as he tries to find the page with all the bits on it. There we go.
He's still...
19, does that hit, sir?
He's like nodding like this.
Yep. Okay.
You're in
So
trouble,
swinging,
mate.
swinging a sword, 1d6 plus 2. That would be a 3 points of slashing damage, Nitro, my friend. The second goblin that is making its way towards you is a little bit further away, so is effectively right behind this goblin, but still just out of range, not enough to do a melee attack. It does have a bow, but it's trying to ready a bow and trying to get off a shot. 9... sorry, is it 9? No, 6... 10 does not hit, I'm assuming.
Nope.
Which leaves you back on up to Nitro's turn. Actually, no. Sorry, my apologies. It's our Drake's turn and our spider friend's turn. Is there anything you want to command your Drake to do?
Well, I haven't commanded him to do anything. I've been too busy shooting people. So he's acting on his turn. Last thing he was told is to spew fire at everything.
Cause havoc. Yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
So the Drake is doing its thing. It's actually managed to leave the back of the spider and is off in a corner doing its thing. It's probably moved another 5 feet away from you. The spider, on the other hand, is trying to just slash it.
Can I
Anyone
tell it
probably
to do
can.
something?
You're not within range either. You've been distracted by spearing goblins and whatever else. So the spider is slashing about. You can see bits of goblin debris that are starting to fly around as the spider tears them apart. But Nitro, that brings us back to you.
Okay, so I'm looking at a shish kebab in front of me. Can I make out another goblin shape that I can shoot at, please?
Yeah, there's one right in front of you.
Maybe the one that's further away from me.
Yeah, so the one that's trying to get a shot off with a short bow and missed is probably 25 feet from where you are.
That's better, because if I shoot the one in front, I'm going to miss.
You may be rolling at disadvantage because you've got someone who's 5 feet with you.
Because I've got someone who's within 5 feet of me.
Because you've got the goblin right in front of you, would that
Yeah.
cause you to roll with disadvantage?
Well, I'm sharpshooter, if that helps.
That would cancel it out then. Yeah, go for it.
Cool. Does a 21 hit?
Yes.
Okay, now I didn't say this was a called shot either, so it's not a called one.
That's all right.
The normal
You
one.
might be lucky.
So that's going to be 4, 5, 7 points of damage for this one.
Yeah, sure. So you knock the arrow, you let it fly, it whizzes past the head of the goblin in front of you, and he sort of gets distracted. It's almost like he sees the arrow get knocked and freezes, thinking it's going to go straight into his head. Short bow goes to leap out of the way, mistimes the jump, the arrow smacks him straight in the neck, and he flies backwards, and the arrow sort of lodges in the stone of the cobbles of the ground. The goblin rashes around a little bit and then lies very, very, very still. Yetnet, you're up. Unless you wanted any bonus actions or movement.
Oh, I'm just going to whistle at my Drake to start making his way back towards me.
Yep, cool. Yetnet, you're up.
So I'm going to do. So like I've got the two, like the one that's 5 feet Nitro, and then
You've got the one in front of Nitro, and then you've got the rest of them in the room that you can see. Those that are still alive.
Well, I don't really want to do this, but I think I might have to. I'm going to charge into the room and see if I can throw both of my great axes. So one great axe that
Hand
way,
axe, yeah.
hand axe, like, and then throw them like, ja.
So you would be able to move in. You would move into range and then out of. So you would get an attack of opportunity against you by the goblin that's with Nitro if you move past it.
Mhm.
You want to do that?
Yeah.
All right. So you move past, and you're effectively going to move past the goblin to move yourself 10 feet into the room. The goblin makes an attack of opportunity on a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to hit.
Oh.
Does hit. So what have we got here? 8 points of slashing damage as you make your way past. As you squeeze past the goblin, his concentration lapses for a moment, but then he sees you come past, and as he does, he reaches out with his scimitar and slashes across your side as you take damage, but it does put you in the room, and now that you're in the room, you can see the spider is basically doing all the work here. The Drake has sort of set everything on fire, and the spider is just tearing apart these goblins. Most of them are screaming in chaos. What started off as 6, there's literally only about 2 goblins left now. Can you make a perception check for me? It's a straight roll.
11.
Yeah, so with all the chaos of the spider and the Drake and the goblins screaming and everything else, you can't really make out much more of what's going on.
Can I throw my hand axes?
You can throw both your hand axes. You can
Yeah,
make
so
one attack.
I'm gonna throw them. So at both at the 2 goblins.
So not the one that's with Nitro, but the other 2 that are remaining. Yep, go for it.
Okay, so I need to roll for distance.
You must be hoping I'd have a tank for my ranged person.
50, 90, 20, 21. And then I'm going to do my bonus action for the first one, so that's 22.
22 hits, yeah.
And then I'm going to do
And then your second one is a straight roll. You don't get any bonus on it.
20?
A natural 20 definitely hits.
Okay, so now 1d6 plus 4. I'm going to do my plus
that's
bonus first. So
Okay, so that's 9. 3, 7 points of damage.
6, 7.
So you hurl this hand axe as the goblin it lands. This goblin, it flies back, and as it flies back, it flies into the path of your spider. Your spider sees the hand axe knock this thing down, and as the goblin hits the ground, it's clutching at the hand axe, trying to lift it out, and then it squeals as it sees this leg, this sharp spider leg, come up above, slam straight into its chest. This little explosion of blood comes out. You can make your second attack.
Alright, plus...
It's just a straight D20 roll.
2.
No, that one first. You've got to make sure you can hit it.
No, I rolled 20 to hit.
You're old. She's
Hit
learning to
22
play.
for the
She's rolled
first one.
22 and 20. Yeah, that's it. Okay. So roll for your damage for the second one. That's what I get for not paying attention.
4.
That's
8.
8 points of damage. The second hand axe flies through the air the opposite direction. And again, you hear from a distance, because you throw it and then focus on the spider killing the other goblin. as the goblin literally collapses in a heap
Oh,
on
I'm
the floor.
just saying it's at its neck.
At its neck, okay. So the goblin is like, its hand up here. The axe has actually fallen free, dislodged, and the goblin is literally trying to hold the inside of its neck in place.
Okay, one more.
You've got a little bit of movement left. That's it. Sorry, you only got literally 5 feet of movement.
Giant wolf spider, put one of your claws into his neck.
The spider's not within range to do that at this point. However, that leaves just the one in front of Nitro and brings us back to our goblin friends. Drake's too far away.
The Drake's got
Giant
40
spider is too far away. Goblin is standing in front of you and rolls a natural 20 to hit. So that's going to be a crit. 3, 4, 5, 10 points of slashing damage, my friend.
10.
10. That's with the double as well.
Yep. Okay.
That brings us back to Nitro. Yes.
How close is my Drake to me now?
It's probably moved back a little because you've asked it to come back, and its speed's 30 feet, or is it 60 feet?
40 feet.
So it's within 5 feet of you now, yes.
Cool. I'll drop my bow on the ground, whip out my short swords, and attempt to hack and slash at this little turd in front of me.
Go for it.
So first one is, what's that going to be? 19 for the first one. Second one doesn't get bonuses, but it's a straight 17 on the dice.
They both hit.
Yep, that's good. So the first hit is going to be 12 points of damage, including 3 fire damage from that. The second hit, regardless, is going to hit for another 5 points of damage. Yep.
So this goblin effectively is the slashing damage effectively wipes this thing out, cuts it in two. But as the blade passes through, it just ignites in this ball of flame. The goblin, his arms flailing around as it starts to burn, and then all of a sudden, as the rest of the blade follows through, you just see the bottom half fall away as the top half sort of sits balanced on the blade for a moment before slowly sliding off to the one side, and you just hear this sort of molten, squelchy noise as intestines and things spill everywhere. It's quite graphic and disgusting.
Drake's there wagging its tail, big grin on its face.
Exactly right. There is all of a sudden a silence that sort of descends on the room. There's crackling of fire. There's a fireplace where there was a cauldron that was boiling something that's still crackling away. There's the smell of goblin flesh. And, you know, obviously the skittering about of a giant wolf spider as well. But otherwise, the noise is pretty much ceased. The clanging of metal and butter knives has ceased as well. and all has sort of relaxed once more.
So we've got shish kebabs. We've also got some sashimi sitting on the table as well.
Lots of food references, yes.
Yeah, cool.
So as you have dealt with all of that, you can't sort of see anything else alive that's worth destroying. You can see a doorway that leads north, and you can see a bit of a smashing in the side of the room, which looks like it's a pathway that has since been blocked off by fallen rubble and debris. So you can either go back out the way you came, or you can head north.
Head north.
I want to pick up my bow first.
Yep. Do you want to grab your hand axes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll pick those up too. There you go.
Cool.
Heading north?
Yeah, north.
Not following yet, Nick?
All right.
Okay, I'm just going to dance one way.
So the door is effectively closed. You have... Sildar didn't even bother taking part in that combat. It was all over so quickly.
Oh, come on, Sildar.
He and Iano are with you as you make your way forward. The door is closed. How do you want to proceed?
Can I see a lock?
It doesn't appear to be locked, no.
Okay, can we just...
Can I hear anything on the other side?
You can make a perception check if you like.
I want you to.
Yep, go for it.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. Okay, so 6, you can't hear much because Nitro's in the way listening to the door.
Sorry.
Nitro, you can't really hear much of what's going on. There's just sort of noise coming. You can hear noise coming from outside, effectively, outside the castle, birds, that sort of stuff. But you can't really hear anything else at this point.
Well, I can't hear anything on the other side, but someone could be stealthed out there, I suppose, and I wouldn't have detected them necessarily. But what do you think? Do you want to go through this door, or do you want to go back the other way and try and come around from another side?
No, we're going in through that door, mate.
Okay. You be my guest. I'll take 10-foot back step. I'll knock an arrow, waiting for it.
No, you're not. You're opening the door.
Ooh, hell no.
Here you are.
All right.
You're the
Both of
smartest
you roll straight up d20s for me.
Oh, what?
No bonuses. Let's roll these.
That's a 12.
Natural 5.
You won the roll. Who would you like to go first?
Hang on, what did she roll?
A 5.
So Nitro, you're going first.
No.
Can you see?
Oh, you've got to be kidding me. You won the roll. Who would you like to go first?
Nitro.
Nitro, you are going through that door, my friend.
Oh, no.
I'll put the arrow away. I'll sling my bow across my shoulders, pull out my short swords ready to go, and I'll undo the door and see what's
You're barging in, by the way.
Okay.
Why?
So you open the door, and you open the door quietly, and you see the interior of the entry hall with the busted down doors. As you stick your head through the door, you can see busted doors leading back outside where you were waiting. Otherwise, you can see a door that leads back to the eastern part of the castle, which looks like it's a more formal door of sorts. You can see the rubble of the doors. You can see there's a door to the north as well.
Can we see in...
You can't see anything. You're not out there. It's just Nitro at this
No,
point.
I'm going behind you.
Falling behind. Okay.
I will point out said doorways and say that the one that directed that hunting party before is either that way or that way.
So the hunting party have headed west. They left out.
Sorry,
that
the
way.
goblin that would directed them though has either gone north into the building or the other way into the.
So
hall.
from what you can tell, the goblin who was standing there and sort of potentially issuing orders, he wasn't part of the banquet hall troop. So he's either in a door that's north or to the east.
Yeah, that's what I'll convey to
Relay. Yeah. Are you just going to stand in the doorway, or?
I'm backing up into the room because I don't want to be in the face of anything at the moment.
Okay.
What? I'm severely injured right now. I'm not a melee combat person.
Fine, I'll just barge in there.
All right. So Yetnet barges into the.
No.
Listen carefully. Yetnet, doing a crazy dance, barges into the area, and you can see as you make your way forward, you hear a creaking and a cracking from above you. I need you to make a, where are we? Dexterity saving throw, please, as the plaster and damaged rock above you is tripped by a tripwire as it comes collapsing down. 14. Okay. You succeed, but you still need to roll 3d6 for me.
3d6.
Go again.
1.
3.
1.
4. You take 2 points of bludgeoning damage. You lucky bugger.
Ow!
Lucky bugger. She survived. She passed a successful save for us. It's only half damage. She rolled 4 points.
Nitro something.
Well, you're just dusting yourself off after that one lump of plaster smacked you on the side of the head.
Nitro, where did you leave the little goblin guy?
Where did I leave him?
He was riding with you, thank you.
Isn't he still slumped over one of the horses back outside the south side?
Probably.
Oh, yeah, we left him out there. Oh, whoopsies. He might get in.
Oh well, no big loss there. Where would you like to go?
Do you want to go north or east further in?
One more question. Can I see any bars or any like prisoners bars or
nothing like that, but you can see the door that stands in front of you to the east that you're facing now is detailed with gold. There's some intricate design work on it. It looks a bit more regal.
Like a jail or something?
Not a jail. Almost regal royalty from ages gone by.
Like a main way.
Yeah, it gives you the impression that this castle obviously had a previous owner before these goblins moved in.
Okay, I think. Wait, can I get my javelin out and I'm just cleaning
the javelin? Yeah, sure.
Because with blood, and then I'm gonna go I'm gonna go ding, Like, I'm gonna go ting, 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 and see if, like, it's solid, or, like, I can get a little piece of it and then lick it.
The gold.
I'm gonna, like, dig, 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 and then lick it. Just
Make
in
a strength
case.
check. Straight strength.
+4.
Yeah.
7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
So you use the javelin. You can damage the door,
Yes,
but
I
you
really
can't actually chip away too much of the gold. Probably get 10 gold pieces worth off the door, which is fine.
Oh, and I'm also knocking down the door, just saying.
You want to knock down the door. All right, make another strength roll for me.
1 second.
She's in there ahead of me. I'll knock an
Oh,
arrow.
no, you're behind me, Nitro.
Yeah.
Yep, I'll knock an arrow, making
Oh,
sure.
no.
Wow, okay. On a roll of
+4.
23 on the strength, you drop the shoulder, shake the plaster off your head, and literally barge into this door. This beautifully intricate, ages past door shatters and buckles under the weight of the Dragonborn and collapses in a heap in front of you.
Oh,
And you
I'm
find
really
yourself
excited.
staring into a room that is pitch black. It's literally a dark space. The only light in this room is the square of light, which has been overshadowed by the Dragonborn's frame that's spilling in. Otherwise, there is nothing. You can see maybe 5 or 6 feet in front of you. That's about it. There's a dark space. You can't make out too much of what's going on. It appears to be a larger room. But yeah, there's not a lot going on that you can make out.
I forgot to think about one thing.
What would you like to do, Nitro?
Chilling out behind her, waiting to see what she does for the time being. Arrow knocks, head on the
I
shoulder, making
forgot
sure
to
nothing
think
comes
about
behind.
the leader of the Cragmaws.
Sildar at this point comes up behind.
My friends, you have fought quite valiantly here, but I fear that this dark space may prove slightly difficult to navigate.
What's the name of the leader of the Cragmaws again?
That would be King Grol.
I really hope this isn't his ring.
Do I have any sense of any undead presence at this point?
No,
Okay, good.
which is probably always a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I have hunted in the past, that's all. So I just want to make sure there's no fucking undead sitting there.
No. Language warning. Language warning.
Sorry.
So you, we're live, nothing to do about it now. So you're all sort of standing just sort of inside the doorway. So there's Yetnet obviously on top of the golden door. You can see Iano, who's come up behind Sildar, being led along, who's staring down at the door, just like, obviously upset that you've smashed the door. Nitro, are you trailing behind, or are you in there with Yetnet?
No,
I would have kept up with Yetnet, I think, because she's
Yeah.
going to get in trouble. I need to help her.
So Yetnet is in the front of the room, followed by Nitro, and then Sildar and Iano. You are sort of about 5 feet inside this dark and cavernous space.
Where's our giant wolf spider and the drake?
They're following along behind you, so the drake's there with you. The drake probably would have caught up with you, Nitro, by this point, I would imagine. The giant spider is coming in behind and is sort of just waiting for you guys to move forward so it can actually fit in through the doorway that's there.
Can we head back in? Well, I guess we're gonna run into trouble anyway, because I can't fix the door. Oh no, we're gonna into battle, aren't we?
Wow. So as you are discussing, and quite loudly discussing everything that's happening or what you're going to do next, you don't almost, it's imperceptible. You almost don't hear the sound at all. As you are having this discussion, Sildar's there with you. The Drake is here as well. Without any sense of warning whatsoever, all of a sudden, a shape drops from the ceiling. This long, slender, serpentine shape, and you just see 4 huge mandibles crunch around the head of your captive Iano, and he is dragged, screaming through his gag, up into the rafters of this building until you hear crunk, and his legs fall back and splatter on the floor behind you as you all look up, and this beast with snapping jaws and a wailing beak slowly starts to descend once more. And that is where we're going to finish
What is
for
it?
tonight.
What is it? What is
Because we
it?
are already way over time, my friends. Some beastie has just taken out Glassstaff. He is
Yeah, he
no
was
longer
useless anyway.
useless anyway. Well, he's no longer for this world, that is for sure. We will pick it up there at this stage next week. Ben, if that works for you, we'll pick it up next week.
Should be fine by me.
That was a bit more epic than I expected it would be. I didn't think we'd go this long, folks. It was a bit longer tonight, but I think you'll agree, well worth it. We will find out what that beast is and what else lies in store as our adventurers explore Cragmaw Castle next week. Folks, if you need to catch up, by all means, check out the other videos that are online. Check out Strike Deck as well, a wonderful supporter of the channel here. And as always, give us a subscribe and a like, and we'll see you back on the interwebs very, very, very soon. As always, ladies and gentlemen, I have been Matt, this has been Charlotte, and this lovely fella here has been Ben Wood. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us once again for what is an absolute chaotic D&D campaign. We love your work very, very much. We will see you back here next week, folks. Thank you very much. Until then, it is
Bye for now.
bye for now.